And hello again, everybody, and welcome to our latest edition of Making Waves, our weekly look at Roosevelt University athletics. I'm Tom Wuestenfeld, and a new segment we're debuting this week as we'll have a little bit of a week in review, and then later on, maybe a little bit of a preview. And we're joined now by the producer-director of our broadcast, Camden Schuchaskie. And Cam, great to have you with us here on camera, although I know you've done some on-camera stuff as well with the post-game interviews you do, but great to have you here on Making Waves, and it should be great as we move along through the season.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to be here. This is kind of something that we've had in the works a little bit, something I took a shot at myself, doing little recaps, but found they weren't as entertaining as it will be, with the two of us kind of giving our analysis on the games that we were at. And it's an exciting week last week for Roosevelt. Obviously, the men's volleyball season kicked off. And then a couple exciting basketball games. So I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, looking at the week in review, first off, women's and men's basketball, very similar results. Had a pair of splits. Both teams were able to win last Thursday in a couple of great games, and then kind of a tough time this past Saturday against Wayne State. But overall, we were talking with Deon Thomas before we started recording his interview, and he was saying you want to win them all, but when you're on the road, kind of like baseball in a way, or a doubleheader on the road for baseball, if you can at least get a split, you're not too unhappy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, especially at the point in the season that both teams are at, it's results haven't quite gone the way that these coaches want, these players want, of course. But even just being there on Thursday, you could tell that there's buy-in from both groups. They're a connected team. Both teams have dealt with different adversity. Of course, the women's team didn't have Isabella Pita on Thursday. She was out with illness. And then it was just a really nice moment to kind of see the connectivity of the groups, from the coaches to the trainers. Of course, Coach Summers on the bench, always a ball of energy. And it was a great result. And of course, you want to win every game you get, but a split, especially on the road, is a fantastic result for both teams.
In the case of both the women's and men's basketball games, the victories, and we'll talk about this with the two coaches as we go on here on Making Waves, but really impressed with both teams' abilities to be able to gut out those close games. That's the mark of a winning team.
Absolutely. I think that they had to gut out those results in different ways. Of course, the women's team led the majority of the way. I think they're up 13 at half. Purdue Northwest made a nice run. I think cut it down to about 2 points. In that third quarter was a little shaky for the team. They weren't hitting shots. They shot the ball really well in that first half. Weren't hitting shots in the second half. That third quarter in particular, and it got close. It got tricky, and they bounced back, and they pulled away towards the end. And then, of course, the men's team, they found themselves down at the half. I think it got a 10-point deficit early on in that second quarter and just clawed their way back into the game, and then eventually had a 10-point lead, something like a 10-point lead with a couple minutes left. As you're talking with Coach D about, they haven't been in a lot of those situations where they have had opportunities to close out games, and they did what they needed to do. They hit their free throws. They didn't turn the ball over. Credit to Purdue Northwest for hitting a couple shots, a couple timely three-pointers, but it's a really nice learning moment for both of those teams to, kind of grit through that adversity. And again, it just shows the connectivity and the buy-in from the entire group.
Well, what was great about that win as well, I thought that obviously I'm sure D. Brown wasn't all that pleased to have his team do it, but in a way, they were able to survive that late run. It got a little bit crazy toward the end of the game, but they were able to survive and get the win.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk a little bit more about the games individually, but Mikey West was, of course, incredible, but there was a lot of help from other guys. Hamari Bowers had a nice game. Devon Smith-Johnson had a really nice game as well. And one big thing from the men's game in particular is you look at the stats. I believe they were -8 in the rebounds, which, of course, you want to be positive in the rebounding margin. The rebounding margin dictates pretty much every game, as Coach Brown said in his interview with you just a couple moments ago. But for the men's team this year, it's been such a struggle on the glass. You look at the Wayne State game, I think they were -22. You're not going to win many games if you're -22 in the rebounding margin. And so for them, especially in the second half, there was a stretch from about the 8-minute mark in the second half to the minute mark left in the game where they cleaned up every defensive rebound. Purdue Northwest didn't have an offensive rebound in that stretch that Roosevelt ended up taking that lead, where they went on that run. I think it was a 15-0 run. They collected every defensive rebound. So you kind of see the correlation right there. But again, a really nice result. And like you said, a lot of different guys that stepped up. It wasn't just Mikey West. It was multiple players all over the floor. And it was a really nice situation for them to learn how to close out games.
And as you said as well, so many guys stepping up, and we were mentioning this when we were taping our interview with D. Brown, and that the teams, both teams, I think, women's and men's teams, are starting to gel a little bit, where everybody is able to make a contribution. We talked a little bit about Bryn Ketcher, not necessarily putting a lot of numbers on the board, but great contribution in that last game, that last win last Thursday.
Absolutely. I mean, like we said, Isabella Pita, the starting center, unavailable with illness on Thursday. Bryn Ketcher playing the 4 for the most part this year, had to slide over to the 5. She had 9 points and 6 rebounds in her absence. She came in averaging 4 and 4. And then on Saturday against Wayne State, she had a double-double. So you can see the moments with these players, with this team, different players stepping up in different situations. Coach Deon has talked a lot about the depth and how important it is over the course of a long season for to have someone like Bryn Ketcher, who's, she's played the 5 before in her previous couple of years, but for the majority of the season so far, she's been playing at the 4. That can be tricky. She's going up against bigger players. She's playing, unfamiliar matchups, unfamiliar situations. She's that kind of rebounding emphasis is really put on her because Isabella Pita is averaging a double-double. She's a black hole on the glass, if you will. And so for her to step up in that situation was absolutely crucial, and a really, really nice game for her.
And, of course, turning now to men's volleyball, we're in the month of January, but in the sense, spring sports now starting to come into view, and what better way to start with men's volleyball and Roosevelt starting out. What a tough start last week. I had to play the number 9 team in the nation. As you pointed out when we were chatting before one of our broadcasts, Lewis University went out, defeated Stanford. So, that team is a great team and had a tough start, but then so impressive, the volleyball team able to bounce back against a good team from Barry University in Florida. And what was kind of interesting about the 2 victories is that they were almost not mirror images, they were carbon copies of one another. 4-set wins in both matches. They dropped the first set, but then they were able to come back and win 3 straight.
Yeah, I think, like you said, for the most part, a carbon copy. As far as, we were just talking about depth with the men's and women's basketball teams and how crucial it is. It's the same way with the volleyball team. On Friday, Mark Smoyjan was unbelievable. Just an incredible performance from him. He had 18 kills on a 500 hitting percentage. It felt like every time he hit the ball, Roosevelt was going to score a point. I was really, really impressed with, especially on Friday, it's a really tough way to open your season. On the road at the number 9 team in the country, you drop your first set, kind of come out flat. There wasn't a ton of energy in that first set. I believe they lost by 10 points. I don't know exactly what Coach Kelly Magliano said in between the first and second set, but whatever she did, it did the trick because they came out firing on all cylinders. Obviously, Smoyjan was fantastic, but I really thought Braxton McGonigal off the bench. He came in that second set, provided a spark, had something like 8 kills, but just really it kind of shows how important that depth is. And then we saw that again on Saturday. Adrian Gajewski, the setter, coming in off the bench. Roosevelt had 2 setters on Saturday with more than 20 assists. So kind of goes to show that depth is absolutely crucial. You can have the best starting 6 or the best starting 7, whatever you want to call it in volleyball, but if you don't have players that can come off the bench and give you energy and fit in seamlessly, then you're not going to win many games.
One thing that you pointed out as we were broadcasting the game, and that was the fact that Kelly Magliano, great strategy choice, finding a little bit of a weakness in the opposition there and going after that weakness, and it paid off.
Yeah, it was very evident that, on Roosevelt's serves, they were targeting, I think his name Jackson Martinez, number 8 for Barry. And he's a good player, but, everybody has their strengths and everybody has their weaknesses, and he's not the best receiver, not the best passer. And in volleyball, that's absolutely crucial. That first touch kind of dictates, how good of a chance you have at scoring. If you put your setter in a position where he can give, the hitters a good set to hit, you're going to score a lot more points than if you don't. So, a huge shout out to Kelly Magliano for that, and the players for executing that game plan because, in my limited volleyball experience, playing intramurals in my undergrad, serving the ball isn't as easy as it looks. You hit it, and you think you can control where it goes every time, but that's not the case. And obviously, these players are much better volleyball players than I am. But still, I think it was the third set. They hit it at Martinez 5 straight serves in a row. They scored 5 straight points, and they had to pull him from the game. And the thing is, Martinez, when he gets the chance to swing, he's going to score a lot of points. Like, he's a good hitter. But yeah, just a really nice job from Coach Kelly Magliano and from the players for executing that game plan.
And the thing about volleyball, we were talking about it, you and I, during one of the commercial breaks as the match was ongoing, and that is that with volleyball especially. It's true in all sports. You have momentum swings, but volleyball, it seems to happen a lot quicker, doesn't it? A momentum swing.
Absolutely. I think that, like you said, in every sport, there's momentum swings, of course, but they seem to happen a little slower. Like in basketball, obviously, if you have a big dunk or a 3-pointer or a block, sure, that's going to give you a little momentum, but it's kind of those 6-0 or 8-0 spurts where you start to feel the tide of the momentum shift. In volleyball, you have a service ace or a big kill or a big block. All of a sudden, your team's pumped up and energized. And I think momentum in everything in life, not just sports, is important, but especially in volleyball. In that first set we saw on Saturday, they came up pretty well, and then they faded down the stretch, and it was a little, what are we going to see in that second set? But then they came out. Kai Bieniek had a really, really nice bounce back. Didn't play his best on Friday, came back. He had 15 kills and 2 aces, led the team on Saturday. That, again, ties into that depth. But, of course, the momentum, just when you get a nice kill, it really sets up your team for the long run and, of course, gives you that momentum in that set.
And looking at the big picture, what was really impressive, I thought, about the volleyball team after that first loss that was on the road at Lewis, coming back home and playing a good team and being able to get 2 victories at home. It's so important with any sport, and volleyball was able to accomplish the fact that they were able to take care of things here at home at the Goodman Center, where the way the volleyball schedules at times, the scheduling can be out of balance a little bit, a lot more road than home, so that puts so much more emphasis on home matches, and it was great to see the Lakers able to take care of business on their home floor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to defend home court. Every coach in every sport is going to say you got to defend home court. That's something that Coach Deon and Coach D just said. And in volleyball, like you said, defending your home court, especially after that tough game against Lewis on Wednesday, dropping that first set on Friday, you got to come out with some energy. And those wins are so crucial because, first of all, it shows the players, okay, yeah, we can do this. We're a good team. It reaffirms that belief in themselves and the collective group, but also they're going on the road this week. They're going out to New York playing Manhattan and Farley Dickinson. And so it's a lot easier to kind of make that trip and carry momentum into a game after you've won a couple of games. Obviously, you're going to be a little more pumped up and a little more confident once you're coming off a couple wins. And so it's exciting to see. Of course, I think that one thing that really stood out from the men's volleyball team is how close they are as a group. Just talking with Adrian Gajewski after their game on Saturday, he talked about the importance of the energy from the rest of the team. Not every player is going to play every game. And Adrian didn't play a lot on Friday. But the ability for him to step off the bench and fit in and get 21 assists, have a really nice game, and it's so crucial. And like we said, the contributions from Braxton McGonigal, the bounce back from Kai Bieniek, are so important in a long season. It's going to be crucial, and especially when you're going on the road, you're playing a team that you never faced. Guys off the bench and are going to be absolutely huge for Roosevelt this week.
All righty. Well, great week in review. We're going to pause, take a quick time out, and then we'll come back with interviews with both basketball coaches. So we'll have Deon Thomas, women's basketball coach, and then D. Brown, men's basketball coach. Cam, thanks for joining us. Looking forward to the weekly week in reviews. We'll see you down the road. And for those of you tuning in here out there in cyberspace, we'll take a break and come back with more right after this. So stay with us. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back as we continue on this 2025-2026 basketball season. Rolling along as well, joined now by Roosevelt University women's basketball coach Deon Thomas. And Coach, glad to be with you again this week. And had a little bit of a split this past weekend, winning a great game on the road at Purdue Northwest on Thursday, a little bit of a bump of the road on Saturday. How do you see how the two games went?
Thursday's win was great. We had some players being ill, so we didn't travel them. So getting a win without having our full lineup was huge for us, huge confidence. Then going to Wayne State, we just didn't execute the game plan in the first quarter. After that, we kind of played them close. So I'm excited that we get a chance to play them again. Hopefully we can perform a little bit better when we host them at our place.
Yeah, turning a little bit first to the Wayne State game, and I noticed it was a little bit of a deficit at the end of the first quarter. Looked like a case where the game kind of got away early and you just couldn't get back into it.
Yeah, absolutely. We just didn't stick to the game plan. We left known shooters. We got backdoor cut. Our transition defense was terrible. Literally the keys to the game, things we talked about, going over screens on drivers, just random things that they just weren't locked in and focused for the game plan. So we shot ourselves in the foot and we couldn't dig ourselves out.
In a situation like that, as you're watching the game on the sidelines, do you have a moment where you can see like this could go really sideways really fast?
Yeah, absolutely. I called an early timeout, made some early subs, but After the timeout, I gave them, tried to correct. We didn't really make adjustments. We kept shooting threes, a ton of threes, and I think that's the problem. We shot the ball well Thursday. We hit a bunch of threes, so we just came in like it was still Thursday night, and we just kept firing away. And it wasn't our strongest suit. I felt like we settled instead of attacking the basket. So calling that early timeout, hopefully make an adjustment. Let's get to the rim. And it took them 10 minutes to buy in to what I was saying, unfortunately. But then that last 30 minutes, I thought we competed.
Just about to ask you that as the game went along, it sounds like you were at least a little bit more happy with the way things were going on the court.
Absolutely. Like, I think it was the second or third, 4 minutes to go in the quarter. It was like 6-4, like points in that quarter. So we were defending, they were defending, like it was back and forth. So they executed their game plan extremely well. So that we, then again, eventually we both start scoring the ball a little bit, but it wasn't crazy quarters in that second half. I think second quarter was 22-20 them, and it was 29 or 26-9 at the end of the first. So we gave up 47 points at the half. So that was just way too many points, or 48 points, way too many points in the half.
Going back to the win over Purdue Northwest last Thursday, great road win, tense ball game, and it seemed like there was a point there, I thought, in the second half where everything seemed to kind of come together for you.
Yeah, absolutely. They went on a run. I think we led at half. I told them they're a good team, well coached. Love Jesse Ford. He does a great job with his girls. Said they're going to make a run. We got to be prepared for it. And they did just that. They went on a run. I think they cut it to 2. Then we went on a run at the end there. So it was nice to see that they took a hit and they were able to deliver a hit to extend the lead back. So
that's the thing about a game like that. We've talked so often about basketball being a game of runs, and when the opposition gets a run, you want to try to respond with one of your own, don't you?
Absolutely. You know, sometimes like things happen, right? Everyone has a plan to get punched in the mouth, like Mike Tyson said. So we hit, they hit back, and sometimes we fold, or sometimes we try to, I call it hero ball, where we don't play within ourselves. We start shooting shots we normally don't shoot. So we were able to just stay the course and execute the game plan.
One of the great aspects of that game was the team being able to step up in the absence of Isabella Pita. Great performances all around, weren't there?
Absolutely. We had 2 shoot the ball extremely well with Kelly Boyle and Iz. So they did great. Marie defensively was all over the place. Then, again, our unsung hero, I think the last few games has been Bryn Ketcher. She's just done a little bit of everything for us. And probably our last like 5 or 6 games, she's been the most consistent. She doesn't average 20 or anything like that, but she's given us like 8, 7, and 4, 3 steals, and guarding their best post player or their most agile post player. And she's been just huge for us.
Yeah, Bryn's a great example, I think, of a player where you don't need to put up monster numbers to have a great contribution. And the numbers you just talked about with Bryn in the game last Thursday, perfect example, isn't it?
Absolutely. She does a little bit of everything for us. She's high energy. She plays really hard. She gives it her all. She's the one who's literally emptying her tank every single game.
Then, yeah, again, you had Kelly Boyle getting a career-high 22 points, and then Isabel Lindo also having a great performance, another career high as well in these last games. It seems like that the team right now, I think, is really starting to gel a little bit, and they were able to, I think, really intensely, and it was great to see the team come together after that run that Purdue Northwest made, and they were able to gather themselves and not panic, and they were able to take the game forward, dictate the game from there on out after a little bit of a momentum swing in the opposing direction, and ultimately come out with a win.
Yeah, absolutely. Those 2, they shot the ball well. They played well off each other. They finally found a groove. I would say our team, we are gelling well. We still haven't peaked yet. I still think we're starting to figure some things out, but what's nice is we still have 6 weeks left of the season, so we're not playing our best basketball, or we haven't reached our full potential. So hopefully we get there. I feel like that's where most teams are. They're playing like Wayne. They're playing their best basketball this season right now. I feel like that's the best they looked all year in that first quarter against us. So hopefully we can get there as well. But yeah, we're gelling. I think we're almost there. We're still climbing. We're almost at the top where we can be at playing high level basketball consistently.
As the season goes along, it sounds like you're able to tell pretty quickly that you know the team is coming together, and you know that good things are ahead and that the team is reaching its peak.
Absolutely. They're working really hard. Have that next man mentality. Like you said, Peta being sick, girls being able to step up, have their career highs, different things like that. So we got a couple girls under the weather now. So hopefully they're back before Thursday, Saturday this week, but they're always willing to accept the challenge. So I think that's a part of us being a close-knit group and being ready, and willing to face whatever is thrown at us.
Now, coming up this weekend, a pair of ball games. You've got Davenport coming up Thursday, Grand Valley State Saturday. Again, back to the GLIAC schedule of Thursday, Saturday. Quick turnaround after the first game Thursday. How do you see those games? How do you see the strategy maybe playing out a little bit in those games?
It's going to be night and day. Two different teams, two different styles of play. Davenport, they've been lately like playing 5 in, 5 out. So they have one like offensive line. Again, I don't know this to be exact, but it looks like they have like an offensive lineup, then they put in a defensive lineup where they press and try to turn it up, where Grand Valley State's 40 minutes of pressing. So I think both games should be competitive. It should be fun. It's like as long as we take care of the basketball, I think we have a chance in both contests.
Judging from some of our earlier conversations, you talked about night and day coming up this weekend. 2 different opponents, perhaps 2 different styles. But I got the impression that you think that's kind of one of the fun parts of coaching is that trying to come up with a way to make those adjustments from game to game.
Absolutely. Making adjustments from game to game, but having at the end of the day, it's who's the best version of themselves. So what we do is we defend. Like, can we defend at a high enough level to stop both of those teams and be willing to handle the ball, right? So they're going to press different presses, but still press. Like, so same kind of scheme, but night and day, what they do offensively, what they do defensively. So our strategy is going to be similar, but slightly different.
When you go into a situation like this where you have one team on one day playing one style and then another team 2 days later playing an opposite style, do you worry at all about maybe a little bit of a carryover from the previous game as far as adjusting and being able to handle what the opposition can throw at you in that second game?
Yes and no. Early in the season, just because I have so many players that were inexperienced with not a lot of like just conference play, but playing quick turnaround. So we probably try to play a lot of games, multiple games in a week early, so it kind of helps you and hurts you. Like you go play Malone Walsh the next day, you go play UMSL then Maryville. So we've been trying to prepare for these moments all season long. So early, I worried about it. Now, not so much. The girls have to know, they have to be mentally tough. They have to understand, like, yesterday was yesterday, today is today. It's a new opponent. So everything we talked about, different defensive lineup schemes, like you can help, you can't help. They have to be able to make those adjustments pretty quickly.
This is where this part of the schedule now, as we move toward the latter end of January, this is where that early scheduling, that non-conference portion of the schedule really pays off, doesn't it?
Absolutely, because we prepare to play these quick turnaround games where not a lot of prep on this team. Like you get a day, sometimes you get no days, but that's kind of what postseason looks like. So we were preparing to go to postseason. We're preparing for conference play. We played some teams that are very similar stylistically, whether they press or they run in the same style of offense. So we've seen a lot of actions already, and we're just trying to execute at a high level now.
As we move now toward the latter part of January, again, still a lot of basketball to be played, but as the days go by in the calendar, the games, I always hesitate to say they become more important, but the emphasis may be a little bit more because you're battling for positioning, trying to get to the postseason. So you're kind of in the situation now where you're almost heading into the last 6 weeks, aren't you?
Absolutely. So it's very important, but you try not to put pressure on any game. It's just the next game. But like you said, conference standings, I think 6 through 11, we're all like a game apart. So it can go any way moving forward. So every game's important in that regard, but you got to take one opponent at a time and hopefully you can be successful. Then we forget everything, whether you win or lose, and you got to prepare for the next one. So.
Alrighty, Coach. Well, we will see you this weekend. Best of luck, and we will be talking to you again next week.
Yeah, appreciate you so much. Thank you for having me.
Joined now by Roosevelt University men's head basketball coach Dee Brown. And Coach, thank you again for joining us this week, as always. And looking back, had a split just like the women's team. We were talking to Deon Thomas a few moments ago, and just like the women's team, had a split. Great victory at Purdue Northwest, and a tough ball game this past Saturday. Looking back, how do you assess the 2 ball games over the weekend just completed?
Thursday, Purdue game was really, really good for us to get a road victory. Thought Mikey West was unbelievable. Really carried us throughout that game and took over the game, made timely shots. We was able to rebound the ball fairly decent to stay within the game. I thought our defense was good down the stretch as well to hold a team like that who run really good actions. They well coached. So I think Mikey West had a phenomenal night of shooting the basketball, making timely shots for us, and our glass control, and we limited him in transition big time.
Had a chance to call that game last Thursday at Purdue Northwest, and from where I was located, it seemed like a really intense game. Did you feel that way on the bench as well?
Absolutely. I mean, every game I told you we're gonna keep competing. You know, records throw records out of it. When we step on the basketball court, we have a job to do. We gotta go out there and compete. I thought we did a really good job of just competing, and that team was, understood the standings, and each game is important, especially when you playing at home. You got to protect home in the GLIAC. So for us to go on the road and get that victory was a huge win for us.
looking at the late part of that game, it's seemingly that you had the game pretty well in hand there. I think it was a 10-point lead with about 2 minutes or so to go, and then they made a little bit of a late run. But what the great positive I thought from that experience is that the team was able to hold on, didn't panic. They were able to get what they needed to do done and get a W.
There's a lessons in everything. Closing games, we haven't been able to, we haven't been put in that situation all year to close out a ball game, and it teaches you how to win, how to secure the basketball, take care of the ball, make free throws down the stretch. But we expect those guys to fight to the end. That's what you're supposed to do in your home court. But for us, it was a really good plus coming out of that with a win, because it taught us how to win and win close games down the stretch.
When that ran started, and then when the run started and it ran through toward actually all the way to the final seconds of the game, a little bit of dispute about the clock there, if I recall, at the end of that ball game. But as you were going through that situation, was there anything you were emphasizing to the team in the huddle during those timeouts? Because as we said, that game started to get real intense really fast.
Absolutely. Informing them that we have no timeouts. You don't want to lose no game when guys are misinformed. They don't know how many timeouts that you have. Take care of the basketball, be strong with it, and then we gotta make our free throws down the stretch. And I thought we did a really good job of doing those things, understanding that we had to execute our press offense, get the basketball, secure it, make our free throws, and try to close out a close ball game.
Talked about free throws, and in a close game, it's probably grasping the obvious, but free throws are always so crucial in tight games, aren't they?
Absolutely. Well, we always talk about that. We've been talking about that since I've been at Roosevelt. We practice a lot. We put a lot of time into our free throw shooting. You got to make them. They high percentage looks, or they could be low percentage look depending on who you put at the free throw line. So make sure we get the right unit out there so we can close out games by making free throws.
And plus, able to get a great win on the road. We talk so often during our chats, both with women's and men's basketball, about trying to take care of things here at home. But whenever you get a win on the road, that's got to be just a great feeling.
Awesome feeling. It's even better feeling. You was there for both of them. And both of our games was close, and you had to execute down the stretch, and we had to win at the end. And it's exciting. Heart beating all, for those moments, but just got to execute, make sure you do what you're supposed to be doing. We do situationals, every single day, leading up to the game to prep for those, just in case the game goes to, those small possessions where you got to make free throws, execute at the end, and make sure you come out with a victory.
As a coach, do you enjoy those situations where in an intense game down the stretch? I got to believe, as a player when we're in your playing days, and also as the coach, the adrenaline really has to kick in, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was about to tell you, man, I love basketball. I love everything about it. When I say everything. And when you go into these games and you go into heavy competition and you get into really good fights and both teams playing really good basketball and it comes down to 1-2 possessions, it's always exciting. But I love everything about that comes with the game of basketball, and I'm very passionate about it. So to be in those moments, be in those situations, I learn from them. I cherish them. Never take anything for granted, win or loss. You get to learn in both situations. So it's been a really difficult time for us, as far as with trying to win basketball games. But I've been learning a lot, and it's been an awesome experience for me.
And getting that first conference win of the season had to be huge for you. It's been a little bit of a struggle throughout the first part of the GLIAC season. It's always great to get that first win in your hip pocket, isn't it?
Absolutely. When you can, anytime you can get a win is good. Winning is hard. I've always said that, whether I've been on whatever side of the block I've been on, winning is hard in this business. So when you get a win, you better cherish it. You better understand that, live in that moment, and then you got to prepare for Saturday.
You went on now to the second game this past Saturday and had a little bit of a tough ball game there on the road in Detroit. What were, in your mind, the key differences between the Saturday game and the Thursday win?
Got out-rebounded by 22. Glass control. If you ever look at any games around the country and you see there's a huge discrepancy in the rebounding, that team probably won.
And again, it sounds like you really kind of focus in, you hone in on that rebounding aspect as such an important part of the game. Anytime, anywhere, you got to get that ball down off the boards because that gives you opportunities at the other end of the floor.
Teams that win and win consistently rebound the ball at a high level. We haven't been able to rebound the basketball, lost the rebounding battle in the second half, 23-3, I believe, and that was the game.
Definite correlation. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but kind of a definite correlation it sounds like you're making. Again, rebounding translates into wins.
Yes, it does.
So you look ahead now. You've got a pair of games this coming weekend. You have game coming up on Thursday against Davenport, and then Grand Valley State on Saturday. I was talking with Deon Thomas a few minutes ago that those two games for his team, the opponents are like night and day, two different styles. Do you see something similar this weekend, or are they teams that play similar styles?
Every team in this league play different styles, in my opinion. Every night presents something new. They got different dynamics. They got disc players, heavy wing team, heavy guard team. They got a big. I think stylistically preparing throughout the week, you do got to focus on you. That Thursday, that first game is very important because when you come back and play the second 40 minutes, it's who wants to play, who actually has the juice. Or how was they Thursday night game? How much energy did they have to expend? It's a lot that goes into it. But I would say that every Thursday, Saturday game for us, the two teams has been completely different.
Kind of talked about the Thursday scheduling, Saturday scheduling aspect of things, and that Thursday game can really set the table a little bit for the second game when you have to play it in such a quick turnaround 48 hours later.
Absolutely. I don't even think it's 48 hours. Is it 48 hours? Because we play
Less
at
than
7, then we play at 3. So I would say that's why your preparation is everything, and getting guys in shape, getting guys to understand that 80 minutes. And again, as we learn, as we go into coming up to year 3, finishing year 2, we learn that we're gonna continue to teach our guys what that means to play on a Thursday, Saturday with such a quick turnaround.
Looking at the individual aspect there, and especially going back to the Purdue Northwest game, Mikey West has been, I think, so impressive of late. I believe he had a career high of 33, in fact, last Thursday. I really love watching Mikey play the game. He runs the offense well, and as we can see, he can put the ball in the basket, too.
Yeah, he can score. It's been great to get him back. He was hurt early in the year, which took a lot of our timely shots away, took a little leadership away from us, and him to get back in the flow of things when you come back off an injury and having to come and be dependent on to do so many different things. I think he's been really good for us.
Do you feel that the team is coming together more and more as the season goes along?
I'm going to have to. I mean, it's only one way. If you're trying to win, you kind of compete every game. You're not giving up. There's no giving up in us. We're going to keep competing. We're going to keep working. And when we step on that floor, you're going to see a group of guys that every single day we're harping and preaching on being a team, being connected, keep fighting. We understand the position we're in, but that don't mean we're gonna quit or start working hard.
Just mentioning in the answer to the last question that you say we have to, pretty cut and dry. Do you ever emphasize that to the team, that you say, hey, listen, guys, at some point we have to come together. We don't have a choice.
Yeah, I mean we've been through so much ups and downs this year, and they know it. They understand. We've been very close with what we've been going through roster wise, and our guys still showing up with a positive attitude. We talk about attitude. And we talk about you have to become more connected because we need each other in order to try to win some basketball games. We're not going to win divided. We're not going to win with just one person, two people. We need everybody, and everybody need each other. So that's going to be a constant mention throughout our program because that's who we are. That's who I am. We, us together. You can't do anything without a team, without each individual doing their job. But also we need each other, and it's about being together.
Teamwork. It's all about that, isn't it?
That's all we preach. So that's been our message since day one, and it won't stop. And the times that we do, I'll say 20, 25 minutes a game, we're there, and we're making steps. And that's all you can ask for. You try to look at the positives when things not going well. That's what we do. We look at what are we doing positive, what are we doing, and as moving into the right direction. Let's keep harping on that and taking baby steps into the right direction.
As we move through the month of January, almost headed now to the final third of the month on the calendar, then you move into February, and this is the time of year. I've always thought the year goes in stages. You have your preseason, the non-conference schedule, then the start of the conference season, always an important part. But now you're basically now starting to head into the final 6 weeks of the year, almost getting to the home stretch. Are you emphasizing that part a little bit to the team as we go along?
Absolutely. We was in this position last year, in the same exact position. What do we want to do? Do you guys want to do chase a postseason? Do you want to chase the 8th, 7th spot? Like, what do you want to do? It's all what guys want to do. What are they planning to do? A lot coming up. It could be the end of the year, or we can prolong it by going into the postseason. So it's what the guys want to do. This is a player-driven business on every level, any level I ever played on, every level I ever coached at. It's about the players. What do they want to do?
It's almost as if the situation was or is that you talk about what the players want to do, and you almost sound like you pose that question to the players, and it's the players that need to, in a way, set the goals, don't they?
Absolutely. What do they want to do right now? It's their bodies, their mind, is what they want to do with the prep, the answers to the test that we're giving them. how hard they want to play to achieve that goal. And it's a beautiful thing, like I said, because it is about the players. We treat our players very, very well. They got to go to school. They got to lift weights. They got to, we all about student athlete experience. So we want them to have the best experience here at Roosevelt. And what other experience do you give them besides playing in the postseason and being able to prolong the season by representing the school, a little bit longer.
All right, you may have heard the alarm on the timer go off, so time to wrap it up. D. Brown, thanks for joining us here this week. Good luck in the 2 games this weekend. We'll see you next week.
Man,
and welcome back as we wrap up this edition of Making Waves here, our weekly look at Roosevelt University athletics. Look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a couple of basketball games on tap on the air this week, available on Flow College. Hope you join us for that. My thanks to Camden Schuchaskie and also both basketball coaches for joining us this week. And also thanks to you for joining us as well. Hope to see you as the season goes along. But for now, thanks for being with us, and so long.